We are here today to fix this leaking coil. I did release like a part one, basically kind of giving you an overview of how we got to this point, but essentially I'll give you a quick rundown. During a maintenance, found that this was low on refrigerant, found a couple of leaks, one on a flare and one on the coil. The coil one progressed very quickly, about 4 months, and it was gushing out, so I had to isolate the system. Originally we were going to replace the entire coil because it's basically compromised. Like those flue gases, this is probably over 10 years old or whatever. So over the course of the 10 years, basically the flue gases have eaten away on the right-hand side of that coil. So we're going to replace the whole thing. Mitsubishi don't have that coil until mid-Jan. It's the start of November, and they need it up and running. It basically runs a entire back section of an aged care facility, this one. So the temp fix that we're going to do is basically spot weld that leak, get it up and running, and then we can come back and do the proper coil replacement, after January, I guess. Anyway, I'm just starting to bring some of my stuff around now. It's a bit decent walk from my car, so we'll continue to get the rest of the stuff. All right, so we're getting there. Basically, I'm just pulling these things apart. Plan of attack. This is the master. This is the slave unit, right? So what I'm going to do is I've isolated these. I isolated them just so that someone wouldn't force them to run and we could create more damage. Plan of attack. I'm going to turn power back onto these things, put it into like refrigerant recovery mode. Now, with Mitsubishi, I'm pretty sure you can actually, you don't need to worry about that, because you can obviously do, you're pulling from both sides of the system. But just to be safe, I'd rather just do it for my peace of mind, to be honest with you, because I haven't looked at a refrigerant diagram for these things yet. So yeah, we'll basically put these into refrigerant recovery mode. We'll recover all the gas. Hopefully while I'm doing that, because all I'm really worried about is obviously the indoor solenoids from the branch box. I'm going to kill power to this, because the leak for this is obviously, there you go, full of gases, lovely. The leak for this, I've basically got to kind of pull this entire unit apart because the leak's right behind there, and to get that side panel off, you kind of need to take off all this because the electrical box is being supported by that. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. So yeah, while I've got it on recovery, I'm going to pull this thing apart, and then hopefully, my hope is that I'll be able to prop this electrical box down on some crates or something, and then remove the side. We'll cut back the coil, or cut back the fins, and then try to spot weld it. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day. just had a quick look at the manual, and this one doesn't actually give you an option for like evacuation refrigerant recovery mode. So I assume that means it's all good just to recover from the 2 pipes. Just in case anyone was wondering, this is the unit we're working on. And then the master's a 350. Anyway, so we'll just start recovering. Awesome. We'll get this thing started. I do have a bucket for water to put in there. But yeah, I have to go grab that. Anyway, we'll get started now. So, open, open, open. We should see this start screaming in. So while that's chugging along, we're basically pulling this thing apart. So the leak is like on the third or the front section of the coil behind there. So because on this side panel here, it's basically supporting the weight of the electrical box and the fan, what I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to do is just disconnect the fan and then even just have that and prop it forward. So nothing is coming out the top, right? Yeah, so nothing's coming out the top. So I should just be able to unscrew that from the bracket. I'm hoping to get a couple of milk crates, prop that on there, and then I'll be able to take off that crossbar and get rid of the side section there. That's the hope anyway, fingers crossed. All right, fan motor's out now. And after a massive process, we're finally out. All right. Look out, barely recognizable. Leaks in there. 17. In the first one, so that's down. Swap out bottles. Trying to keep protected. Actually, I get something to prop this out, but our leak is right here. That one looks pretty bad too. I don't know. I might try to take out this whole section. So I've got a little grinder here. I'm gonna try my best to get in there and cut it all away. See if the jumper works. Yeah, maybe. So it's this one. I'm going to cut out the here because I want to try and get that one maybe too. So chugging along, got this all out. I'm going to hit this one here as well because it looks pretty bad. So the idea is I'm going to try and take that entire section of the bracket out and then hit here and here and then pressure test. Actually no, go do the flare and then pressure test. Base charge on these two is 20.6 kgs. Now I don't know what the total charge is. Either it's written there and I can't tell what the fuck that says, or they just decided not to write it on there, so it's very nice of them. So what I might do is I'm hoping to place a call in a Mitsubishi. They might have it on file. Chances are probably not though, right? So what I'm thinking I might do, just off similar like systems that I've worked on similar size, I might start off with like 30 to 35 kilos potentially. And I think there's a mode in there where it's like refrigerant check. And so we might have to use that because to try to get into the roof space and measure out all the pipes on this is actually impossible. They've run it into some like really flat areas that I can't get to. Like I could do a rough guess, but then if I'm doing a rough guess, I may as well just do this version of a rough guess, you know what I mean? So we'll play it by ear on that one. Hopefully Mitsubishi have the information for us. I've just closed off the service valves there because we're gonna obviously not expose that one to atmosphere until we need to. And what I'll end up doing is I'll do the same one over here So we'll recover all the gas from the pipes and this one as well. Then I'll close off those service valves and I'll use those 2 ports up the top there to then flow my nitrogen. So all I'm doing is basically flowing nitrogen through the condenser and then out the other little port there, just so, you know, we're not wasting nitro going through the entire system when it doesn't need to. Also, just quickly to clarify as well, so I'm obviously exposing this part and the entire indoor system to atmosphere. Now, when you do that, Mitsubishi recommend obviously putting in like a suction dryer. Now, I would 100% be doing that if I could, but I'm going to show you why I can't. So we've got an expansion tank here for the boiler that runs over where my pipes are, and that is the room that I have got. What's that, maybe 300, 400 mil maybe, and all run along the ground too. So if I can find a diagram, I'll put it up to show you what they recommend to do. Basically, it's just like have a straight pipe, bit that's you can close with ball valves, and then have a section that goes up to your dryer as well that you can also close with ball valves. So instead of having to like recover all the charge to take the thing out, you can just basically disconnect. Anyway, I'll put a diagram up and it'll explain it better than I can, but that's why we're not doing a filter dryer on this thing, because there is just no space. And there we go. So probably about 29, 30 odd kilos out of it. So yeah, anyway, we'll get to work with the repairs. All right, so I did my best. You can see obviously, yeah, it was pretty tricky. So what I used was basically this little grinder here, and my way of going about it was basically trying to, so this is where the pipes are coming through. I've bent up those tabs because basically I cut it up the top, cut it at the bottom, and then I did little slits as close to the pipe as I could without obviously nicking it. And then I twisted it to try to like pry it out. So it worked, but it did leave a couple of like marks on the copper there, which, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to go through and obviously solder all of those up anyway, because I'm going to try to do these bends as well. But yeah, I mean, if anyone has a better idea or a better way of going about that, definitely hit me up. As I'm standing it back too, you can see all the little pitting and stuff that's been caused. There's little holes around, you know, yeah, it's kind of eroding the coil. So that's why we're replacing it eventually. Man, it is a slow process getting these things clean. I'm going around with it with emery paper or sandpaper, whatever the fuck this is. And obviously you can see like the dents and stuff. So I probably cause a lot of that, which is again annoying, but like, yeah, whatever. So my plan is get that as clean as I can with this, and then see what I can do with some of this stuff on some of the tougher ones, like the dents and stuff like that. Should be able to get me in there and make it all nice and clean. You know, it's the same with everything, right? It's all about prep work. You are, you know, half an hour of prep work for a 30-second weld, hopefully, or in this case, probably like a 2-minute weld, hopefully. So yeah, all about that prep work. I ended up switching to that after a while, and it's come up pretty well. Like there's still a little bit to go, but it's coming up really nicely. So yeah, I think we're almost ready to weld. Just getting ready now. Man, look at all of this, eh? It is just wild what it takes to sometimes do a job. Like, look at all of it, eh? So just getting this set up, trying to get the nitro to flow through. Getting some, yeah. Might lower that a bit. I'm not going for pretty, I'm going for it to hold. I'm just doing a purge of nitro now. What we might do, we'll do a pressure test. So like I said, I've got the valve shut off. So I'm just gonna test this part of the system first. I've got the other guy fixing the flare for me now. But yeah, we're just gonna test these welds. I've just gone and hit that with Big Blue. Might have a bit of a, see if that was just me hitting it. I'll hit that again. We might have a bit of a leak there, but that's all right. This is why we test. Maybe it was just me. Looks like it's holding. It's kind of hard to get a bit of a... Anyway, take my word for it. I've put a full bottle of nitro into this, so I'll pressure test just this part of the system while the flare's getting done, and then what we'll do is we will open it all up, pressure test the entire thing, and we'll go have something to eat because it's late in the day and I'm pretty hungry. Stoked, man. No bubbles. How good's that? So the original leak was there, and then I just did that one because it looked pretty compromised as well. So yeah, really happy. We can get this thing a full system pressure test after this. It'd be great. Put this thing back together and make it look like a VRF again. So opened up both service valves for these units. So we're now going to do a full system pressure test. We are just in the process now of putting in the second bottle. Yeah, we'll get this thing going. Fourth bottle going in now. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? There you go. Right, fourth bottle is done. So I'm just going to let that settle, stabilize out. I'll close those, my high and low side, and then we'll run a pressure test. Alrighty, I think I've waited long enough. Let's get this thing on a pressure test. Alright. Pretty happy with that. The sun for a bit was obviously beaming on it, but yeah, if it's going up in pressure, I am happy. Let's get the back pump set up, and yeah, we'll start backing this thing out. Right, we're finally on vacuum. Jeez, it's been a mission. While that's on back, we're kind of just getting this now back together. So we've put the side panel on, got this on so we can get this board to flip back up. I'm just trying to work out where all those cables go again. And then we can plug the ones that we took out back into the board. Starting to resemble something like a VRF unit. Also, before, while I had pressure out of the system too, I did go through and replace some of the Schrader cores. I kind of just, they're somewhere, but anyway, there was basically 4 per system, so may as well replace them while I've got it open. I was able to drop that entire panel really by only disconnecting the fan and a couple of other looms, and then just getting rid of those cable ties at the back that gave me enough slack to pull it down. So it was, it worked out all right actually. It was awesome. And pulling out these, they basically just sit up there. Yeah, obviously make sure you move those, otherwise you'll damage the pipes. Doesn't look too bad. This thing's really dragging now. So what I've actually decided to do is, this is a form of like suicide lead, I guess. First I'll have to use it for like 3 years actually, but because I'm running power from inside and tomorrow's a public holiday, so I'm going to be leaving this thing on vac for, you know, a solid day and a quarter, I guess, however long it turns out to be. But because that is the case, and it's obviously a walkway here and people walk through here all the time, I can't just leave my lead over there. So what I've done is I'm going to turn power onto this thing, the master condenser, plug my vac pump into that, and then work out a way of putting some like kind of coverage over it just in case it decides it wants to start raining. So hopefully it won't, but I think the forecast said that it might be like 27 and raining tomorrow. So real pain in the ass weather, that stuff. I've just got to work out a way of securing that. And then I've done this basically. I swear every time I do a job where I need to leave something overnight, it's rain. It's a curse. It absolutely is. Just give me clear skies, you know. Give me clear skies so I can just leave the vac pump out and not have to worry about it. Anyway. Big difference from about 2 hours ago. Man, all right, so this is the setup that I've got. Basically, I've got my vacuum pump under there. Done the same thing, I've cable tied it down, try to leave enough air so it's not gonna overheat. This is obviously, like I said, a walkway, so I've just kind of cable tied this so no one will open it, hopefully. And yeah, we will come back. So tomorrow in Melbourne, Australia, Melbourne, is public holiday. So I will be back on the Wednesday morning to get this done. So like I said, I'm glad that this thing's going to have that extra time to pull into a half decent vacuum, because it's a large system. Like I said, 2 condensers, a branch box, 9 indoors. I think there's a couple of like 25 kilowatt ducteds. It's pretty big, so it just needs that extra time, which I'm glad it's going to get. But honestly, this video is probably going to be massive, so I'm going to split this into 3 parts. That first little teaser, this part, and then when I come back on Wednesday. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.